Hi everyone, and welcome to our video on even more on sets. So the last video kind of cut me off, and we had just finished these two, and then my computer froze. So that video might have ended abruptly, but it's probably better anyway. So we'll start this one off fresh with these two problems. So in this first problem, what they want to do is for us to find the universal set. So to find a universal set. So we've done this before, but these are kind of more getting ready for probability. So on this first one, it wants us to find the universal set of rolling a fair die. So a die, just like in a board game. Again, make a small sketch. So just like in the board game, it has the dots on it. Okay, so there's 6 sides, and so what they want for us is just to list the 6 sides, really, but with the number that's involved. Like that. Okay, so that's our universal set. Which again, this is kind of this style problem is kind of getting ready for probability, which is helpful for us. So these set problems they really help with that probability stuff that we'll see real soon. Okay, this next one is telling us to find the universal set of spinning this spinner. So there's like the little arrow type thing that gets flicked and it spins around, like in Twister, like the game Twister, you spin that thing. Okay, and then it wants us to flip a fair coin. So it wants us to do this first and then do this second and then group those outcomes together though. All right, well, let's break it down. I'm going to say U. We will get a nice pattern that develops out of this. So our universal set would be, well, what would happen here is if I spin the spinner, it could land on 1. And then if I flip a fair coin, well, fair coins, we usually say if you flip a coin, it is either going to land on heads or tails. So we'll abbreviate heads or tails with H and T there. All right, so we have 1. So if it lands on 1 and then I flip the coin, I could say, well, it could land on heads or it could land on tails. So let's get both those outcomes right there. Okay, so if I spin the spinner, it lands on 1. And then afterwards, it has these 2 options after. Okay, so back to the spinner. Well, if it doesn't land on 1, it could land on 2. And then those 2 options afterwards. So 2 and heads, 2 and tails. And then comma. Last time I spin the spinner, it could land on 3. And then afterwards, I flip the coin. So 3H and 3T. So we get a nice pattern to it, right? And then afterwards, another way to write the answer, sometimes they'll treat it like an ordered pair. So parenthesis 1 comma H, and then comma parenthesis 1 comma 2 T, parenthesis 2 comma H, and then 2 comma T, 3 comma H, and 3 comma T. So it's kind of treating it as an ordered pair where, so this is showing, this is showing, so it's kind of like an X and Y coordinates almost, but it's just letting us know we spun the spinner first. This is the spinner and then the H or whatever, that's from the coin. So it's just kind of showing that we separated them. Okay, so anyway, so that's just the 2 different styles though that could be written if it's the way that we write it. Well, you could choose whichever. Okay, but there we are. Okay, so that's making our own universal set. And then one other problem. So these last 2 problems here are kind of just random stuff with sets. So the main thing was probably like in the last video that got cut off. But here we can still use it to help us in this scenario. Okay, so in this example, it says the following table lists some information on the 13 colonies. So just really the years that they were established and then the region that they were in. Use the table to list the elements of the following sets. All right, so X. So they're saying the set is X. So I'm going to say X equals, and get a brace going, the colonies that were established before 1636. Okay, so before 1636. So that would be these dates. I'm using my line to cut it off. So because I don't want the ones that formed on 1636. It says before. Okay, so that's those dates up here. It's because it looks like it's in order of, yes, years established. So we've got 4 of them then. We've got Virginia. We've got Massachusetts. We've got New Hampshire. And then we've got Maryland. Okay, there we go. So that is that set. All right, nice. Okay, so just be careful of the language. So before 1636, if it said established on 1636 or earlier, then you would include Connecticut and Rhode Island. Okay, for number 2 here, it wants us to find the set Y. Actually, that kind of looks like it's lowercase. Let me make sure that it's a uppercase Y. The colonies that are not New England colonies. So not New England colonies. Okay, so I've got 4 New England colonies. Let me go ahead and just put kind of dots on them so I can see them a little bit. So it's these 4 are the New England colonies. So that means all the other colonies are not New England colonies. Okay, so now I'm going to list them as Virginia. And then we've got Maryland. And then Delaware and onward. So Delaware, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. There they are. Okay, so we've got these 9. So there's 9 colonies that were not in New England. Okay, and then afterwards, I guess we could box it. Now that we've found the sets, we need to do the set operations for it. Okay, so for number 3, they want us to find the intersection of X and Y. Okay, so that's the ones that are going to be in common. All right, so because I don't think I really want to write all of these in the same line, I think on this we can just kind of look and start to write them. Okay, so remember this is in common. Okay, so the purple I'm just putting in the intersection. Okay, so notice Virginia. I'm just going to underline Virginia instead of circling. Okay, because I don't think I want to make it too messy, so I'm going to use an underline technique this time. So Virginia is in common. And then I don't see a Massachusetts in here. I don't see a New Hampshire in here. Maryland I see. Okay, so those 2 were in common. So I think that's it. Unless I'm not seeing everything correctly. Yep, that's good. Okay, so I am seeing it. Okay, so we've got our X and Y then is Virginia and Maryland. There we go. Okay, so just using what we had from our first couple problems to help us with that. Okay, and then number 4, not X or not Y. All right, so this one is where I'm going to rewrite these out. So not X. Okay, so I have 4 colonies that are in X. That means 9 would not be in X. So it's all the ones that are formed in 1636 or larger, or greater, I mean, or later, maybe is the best word for years. Okay, so it starts with Connecticut then. So, and I'm going to put it over here because I might run out of room. So Connecticut. So I'm listing all of the ones below my blue line that I wrote. So Connecticut, then Rhode Island, then Delaware, then North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. And then I've got my union symbol. Let's see if we can fit it. It's going to be a close one. I'll do this one in green. So not Y. So not Y. You can even use English. It's so Y was not New England. So I want not New England. Okay, so that sounds weird, right? But double not would mean I really want the New England colonies. Or even looking at my Y right here, I would say I don't want these 9. I want the 4. Let's go ahead and do it in green now. Those 4. So I want New England, really. So the New England colonies is not Y. And so we have Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and just barely squeezed it in. All right, and then now at this point, the union symbol. So I'm just bolding it. The union symbol means to include all of these elements together. Just don't repeat any. And we'll have... Okay, so I'm just going to list all of the ones that are in blue. So Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia, comma. Okay, so what is missing? Massachusetts I don't have in the set yet, so yes, I need that one. New Hampshire, I don't also have it. Let's get it. New Hampshire. Connecticut I already have. Okay, so I'm just put a check mark. I already have that written. Rhode Island I already have. Okay, so that one's already written as well. So there we go. So that is our final set for that problem. Okay, so there it is. Some history in the making too. Our old friends, the 13 colonies. All right, so there is our set startup so far. If you do have questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.